Brandon Hagel put a stop to that by saying that he did it for the flag and he did it for the jersey. Look at the history of hockey. I mean, people can have as many opinions as they want and be negative as if they choose to be. I don't see anything negative about it. If the players want to go out and fight, I mean, tell that to Matthew Tkachuk's face. The culture of our sport, you have to play it with passion. You have to be willing to fight. You have to be willing to leave it on the ice. That's what fans are investing in.
This Four Nations face-off come to be?
That's a great question. We have been very focused with the Players Association, who in international best-on-best competitions are our partners.
Credit to PK Subban. Credit to the exposure that hockey got this week. The NHL did so well with Four Nations. I want to talk about the coverage you got from ESPN to all the other networks in the U.S. This is massive. And I did want to talk about just overall that the NHL has always been behind, but now I think we're seeing that transition. We're seeing what the NHL has done, whether it's the priority in playing during the pandemic. There's like these different steps that I've seen the casual fan or people that have not been invested in hockey really investing themselves in hockey. And just in general, the reach of socials. On X, you see NFL-centric analysts or insiders or just in general, people that watch NFL tweeting about hockey and getting 70, 80, 90, 100,000 likes. That is massive for the sport. So I got to give a lot of credit for PK Subban. You saw a couple of those clips there. Massive, massive credit. The NHL got major exposure. We're talking about over 9 million eyeballs on that ESPN broadcast for the Four Nation final, Canada-USA. Of course, different coverage, whether it was TNT or ESPN getting the coverage. I was in the Dallas airport Friday morning, so yesterday morning as I'm recording this, the morning after the Four Nations final, all the televisions were hockey. When's the last time we could say that? Whether it was ESPN or any network that was on, it was all hockey. Even news outlets, Fox, I saw hockey. It was all hockey, guys. In the U.S., especially down south in Dallas, and also I got to give a lot of credit to like that market. The Stars fans down there, awesome. Went to a couple Stars games now, all green. It's great down there. And there's no issue on wearing jerseys down there also. So that's another conversation. So when we're talking about bringing in markets like maybe in Austin, Texas, or Houston, Texas, or New Orleans down there in Louisiana, like those are rising markets, population obviously wise, but of course, more people moving down there. There's a lot more corporate stuff happening in Texas. Of course, now TNT and Warner Media, of course, TNT's headquarters being in Atlanta, Georgia as well. So down south and just across North America, especially down in the U.S., there's a lot more respect going towards hockey. And after the U.S. beat Canada on that Saturday night, yes, it was a preliminary game. And maybe you could argue that the growth of hockey in the U.S. would have grown so much more had Team USA beat Canada in the Four Nations final. Of course, Canada still wins, but we're less than a year away from the Olympics in Milan. And I think when you look at Milan, it's obviously an international, and there's going to be more nations. So overall, international eyeballs, but I am more focused on the U.S. growth here because I think it's been behind on those other sports. I think major credit, I got to give so much respect to PK Subban for, I think, of course, he's under that umbrella of ESPN, so he's going to make those appearances. He's going to be that guy that stepped up, but I think for those appearances, he's showing that passion. He's showing the conversation where he could just make the appearance and just kind of have an overall conversation. But the fact that he's being passionate about it, he's talking about the advantage of hockey over the NBA, the NHL over the NBA. And I think that's driving viewership, maybe away from the NBA, but frankly towards the NHL. And I think coming out of Four Nations, I'm going to be curious about the eyeballs. I hope that people understand how great the sport is. And that's where I'm having a little bit of a rant. People might just watch this tournament because it was Team USA as a nation, make it political or make it whatever it is, and just ignore the rest of the season. Watch the NHL season. Watch the NHL playoffs. The NHL playoffs are the best playoffs in all major sports. It's something to watch. So definitely keep an eye on that, guys. I want you guys to watch the NHL. If you're not a serious NHL fan right now, you're a casual, or you're just watching Four Nations, give it a chance beyond that, because I'm telling you, this is the best sport in the world, especially when it comes into best on best and when it comes into life on the line, because I think that's how they treat it. Playoffs, Stanley Cup finals, that is how they treat it. And even guys coming out of this Four Nations, they're going to be beat up the rest of the season, but they're going to keep going. There's no vacations. Sidney Crosby wins a Four Nations tournament where it's just, you grind it out physically and mentally a lot. And less than 24 hours after landing, he's playing a Saturday afternoon game against Alexander Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals, who are top of the conference, and Crosby's still out there playing. It just shows how invested these guys are and all in on the sport every day to win, no matter where you are in the standings. And then, as I said, it's just that much more when it comes to playoffs. The NHL playoffs are the best playoffs in major sports. To me, there's no debate on that. And there's also no debate on the fact that the NHL and the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win in all of major sports. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate all the new hockey fans coming to this channel because I'm going to give you guys all the coverage. I'm live always all day on NHL trade deadline day. I'm also doing content on Bleacher Report, the app, so go check it out there. Thank you so much for all the support. Like, subscribe, notification bell on, and definitely comment your thoughts on the growth of hockey. Peace.